Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Following a coastal low that's been pushing some moisture into North Carolina, I'll show you why we may not see a whole lot of it around here.
Also, brothers in court. Today, the men accused of killing a Wake County deputy will be in a courtroom. The new developments ahead of their trial scheduled for next year.
Plus, AI in schools. Wake County school leaders are meeting today to talk about their policy for the classroom, how Amazon will be a part of that discussion. A lot of discussions happening here today. We're going to get you caught up on your Tuesday morning. I'm Laura Levine.
And I'm Ken Smith. And of course, we talked about it being a rainy day, but boy, let's get to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner to let us know why that didn't happen.
Yeah, you can definitely see plenty of sunshine in Southern Pines behind you two. What's going on is we have a low pressure system sitting offshore. It is rotating moisture in, but a lot of the moisture is getting robbed by a system that's sitting just off the coast. And you can see it here. That, instead of traveling inland, is traveling northward. And it's really grabbing all the energy and all the moisture and keeping it from rotating inland. And so that's a development that we really didn't see picked up with the models yesterday. So things are pretty dry across our area. We do have a lot of cloud cover in our northeastern counties, and it may be breezy through the afternoon, but those may be our biggest impacts. Our northeastern counties could see a few scattered showers through the afternoon. It is gray right now at RDU with a temperature of 63, and our dew point is pretty low. So we have a fairly dry air mass in place. So that's another thing that all this moisture as it comes in will have to overcome before we actually see any rain. Looking at a high of around 70 degrees this afternoon. We'll talk more about when this will move on out of here. Coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL traffic. So some good news to report. We've been monitoring a crash on 885, the northbound lanes near the Durham Freeway. It's cleared, but you can see still some lingering delays in those northbound lanes heading into Durham this morning. Still in double digits, but it's getting much better. You're looking at a 13-minute delay going into Durham this morning, just a 6-minute delay if you're using 885 to get to I-40. Now, if you're in a rush, still you might want to take Highway 55 as an alternate route, or Davis Drive coming off of I-40 westbound. Right now, all the other major routes, except for I-85 coming in from Hillsborough, you're looking at a 16-minute delay. That's the usual morning congestion that we see. The other problem is to the east of Raleigh, we're seeing things have definitely gotten a little better in I-87, but that's southern loop of the Beltline as well as the northern loop of the Beltline. That's the usual morning congestion we see this time of the morning. So you're looking at a 7-minute delay on that southern loop of the Beltline. So keep that in mind as you're about to head out. In terms of other major routes coming in, you're looking at a 7-minute delay coming in off of I-87 in Knightdale, and just a 10-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest this morning. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Happening today, the brothers accused of killing a Wake County deputy are expected to be in court. Alder and Arturo Marin Sotelo are charged with the 2022 murder of Deputy Ned Byrd. WRAL's Ali Calabar is live at the Wake County Courthouse this morning. And Ali, we know that their trial is scheduled for next year.
In the next 90 minutes, Laura, we're going to see those brothers back in the courtroom for another hearing. This comes more than a year before their trial date is set. Here's a look at the two brothers, Alder and Arturo Marin Sotelo. About 2 weeks ago, a homicide status hearing confirmed a trial date for September 2026. The death penalty is off the table. They are charged with the murder of Wake County Sheriff's Deputy Ned Byrd. Byrd was shot and killed in the line of duty more than 3 years ago. Now, the hearing today is set for 9:30. WRAL is going to be there covering this. We're going to keep you updated. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
Ali, thank you. Raleigh police are investigating a crash that ended in a fire overnight. This is a look from the WRAL breaking news tracker at around 11 p.m. This happened on Keystone Drive near Lynn Road. Only one car was involved. The driver had minor injuries, and we're trying to learn more about what caused this crash.
Covering Wake County today, the future of AI in schools will be a big topic of discussion. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey live this morning outside the Wake County School headquarters in Carrion. Kelsey, the school board is talking about this policy, and Amazon is expected to be part of the conversation?
Yes, Ken. Today, Wake school leaders will talk about creating a new AI policy for your child's school. They'll be meeting here at the board headquarters a little bit later today to brainstorm some new guidelines. Another step towards more technology in the classroom. Amazon will present to school leaders this afternoon. A company representative will talk about how AI can help schools work more efficiently. Several other school systems in our area already have an AI policy or references a commitment to using it and maintaining academic integrity. For example, some school systems specify that using AI for essays would be considered plagiarism. Wake Schools already encourages students and teachers to use AI. There just isn't a formal school board policy on it yet. Now, this is just the first meeting about AI. The board is scheduled to meet 2 more times about this, so you can follow our coverage today in the education section on WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, Ivan Carey.
A longtime community advocate and former city council candidate in Wilson is accused of killing 2 people. Wilson police were called out to Washington Street yesterday afternoon. Officers found 3 people who were shot. Natasha Sutton and Avante Pinder were killed. Dante Chestnut is now facing 2 counts of first-degree murder and an additional count of attempted first-degree murder. Chestnut is the founder of the local nonprofit Our Wilson.
He comes to this community all the time to give back to his community, clean up the yards, help the old people out. It's devastating that something like this would even be brought to our attention.
Wilson police haven't said what led to the shooting. Neighbors tell WRAL they heard arguing before the fires and the first shots were fired.
The man accused of killing Charlie Kirk is expected to be in court in Utah today. Prosecutors are expected to lay out the charges against 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. This comes as the Washington Post reports the suspect appeared to confess to the killing in a small chat room. An FBI director says investigators found a text that claimed he had an opportunity to take out Kirk. A vigil was held on Capitol Hill last night to remember Kirk. And now bipartisan concerns are growing about political violence. Senate Republicans are expected to be briefed today on security for U.S. Capitol Police.
Durham Mayor Leo Williams is voicing his support for Police Chief Patrice Andrews after she posted on social media about Charlie Kirk. This post, which is now deleted, says Kirk used divisive language, shamed black women, and tried to justify gun violence. Yesterday, Mayor Williams posted on social media in a statement saying that he supports her freedom of speech in her personal capacity, like I do to those who have reached out and requested her resignation. Durham city policies allow for the police chief to speak out on her own personal social media accounts. However, the city manager is still reviewing the post to determine if any policies were violated.
One of the people charged with killing a 10-year-old girl in a boating crash will likely stay in jail. A Chatham County judge denied Anna Marie Flanagan's request to lower her $1 million bond. Flanagan's case is tied to her boyfriend, Quentin Kite. He's accused of driving Flanagan's boat under the influence when it hit and killed 10-year-old Brooklyn Carroll. District Attorney Jeff Neiman questioned Flanagan's decision, implying that she was complicit.
There's no way that the owner-operator of that boat was aware that this man was drinking all day.
He also pointed to previous car crashes where Kite was believed to be under the influence as well.
Governor Josh Stein is headed to the Capitol Hill tomorrow. This comes as he calls for Congress and President Trump to approve a large new aid package for Hurricane Helene relief. In Henderson County yesterday, Stein laid out more than $13 billion in recovery needs across western North Carolina. He said the Trump administration has also blocked funds that were already approved, keeping that money from being sent to North Carolina.
West North Carolina has not received anywhere near what it needs, nor our fair share.
Stein might have some Republican allies in Washington for this fight, including Senator Ted Budd. Budd has been putting his own pressure on the Trump administration, holding up congressional approval for nominees to protest low levels of Helene aid.
Happening today in Johnston County, officials are helping people get ready for the upcoming elections. A series of voter photo ID events getting underway today. Workers from the County Board of Elections will be issuing IDs to voters who need them. Today's event will be at the Selma Library in Selma from 2 o'clock this afternoon until 4 p.m. The next one is scheduled for Thursday at the Benson Library.
Your time now is 8:09. Campus alert. NC State Police are looking for a person who inappropriately touched someone. What investigators are still working to learn about what happened.
And helping after Helene, how a nonprofit shifted its focus in Western North Carolina to support people who lost everything in that flooding.
And coastal low continues to hold off to the east. It hasn't pushed much rain into our viewing area and looks like we may not see a whole lot of that for the rest of the day, especially around the triangle. I'll walk you through Futurecast coming up. 8:13 with a check of the tropics. Right here is a system about to at least become a tropical depression, if not a tropical storm, sometime either today or tomorrow. And then a new one this morning coming off the coast of Africa has a 20% chance of developing. But this one we've been watching for 4 or 5 days now has a 90% chance of developing. If it gets a name, Gabrielle would be its name. This is a look at our hurricane forecast plot showing which way it's likely to be headed. And that might be, something to take interest in. But take a look at this. One of the models brings it up toward Bermuda and then swings it out to sea. This time of year, typically we have a lot of fronts coming off the coast of the United States. And so at least it looks like potentially one will pick it up and move it to the east. Now that may not be the final answer, so keep checking back as we watch that one closely. If it did affect the United States, it would be probably 8 to 10 days from now. What is the winter going to look like? Well, La Nina can give us some hints of that. Meteorologist Chris Michael is coming up to take a closer look at that in just a few minutes.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. I want to take a look at this. This is the northern loop of the Beltline. Is I-40 and New Bern Avenue heading toward Capitol Boulevard, Wake Forest Road, Six Forks Road, if you will. So we're seeing some usual morning congestion that we see this time of the morning. So keep that in mind. In terms of other major routes coming into the capital city, you're looking at a 17-minute delay coming off of I-40 eastbound, a 9-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest at this hour.
Police are looking for a man accused of inappropriately touching someone on NC State's campus. Students received a wolf alert message about the incident late Sunday night. Police say they got a report of what they are calling a non-consensual sexual contact near Carroll Residence Hall that happened around 6:30 p.m. We spoke with a student who is alarmed that this happened.
It's frustrating if you feel like, the people on this campus should do better, and people should always do better and not know what not to do. And so hearing about this at the school, it always sucks to hear when something bad like that happens. We should always learn to grow from things like this.
University police say they do not have a suspect. They say they aren't sure whether the person they're looking for is affiliated with the university. Happening today, the man accused of killing the CEO of United Healthcare is expected to be in court today. Luigi Mangione is facing nearly a dozen state charges, including murder as an act of terrorism. This is his first appearance since February. He's accused of killing Brian Thompson in December. He's also facing federal charges and state charges in Pennsylvania. He has pleaded not guilty.
Today, the Federal Reserve begins a 2-day meeting. Signs point toward it ending with an interest rate cut. It comes as there are legal battles over the Fed's board of governors. Yesterday, a federal appeals court rejected President Trump's firing of Lisa Cook. She will stay in her job for now. Trump attempted to fire her over allegations of mortgage fraud. She has not been charged with any wrongdoing. In addition, the Senate confirming Stephen Meyer as a new member to the board. He is a top economic advisor to the president.
President Trump is also expanding his efforts to crack down on crime in American cities. He has signed off on the creation of a task force to reduce crimes in Memphis, Tennessee. Trump says this will be similar to the increased law enforcement presence in Washington, D.C. He has received support from Tennessee's Republican governor, but pushback from Memphis's Democratic mayor. Trump says he wants to do something similar in Chicago next.
A recent NOAA forecast shows a more than 70% chance of a La Nina developing this fall. So what could that mean for us? Let's get right to meteorologist Chris Michaels showing us in today's Ask the Meteorologist. Hey, Chris.
Hey there, Ken. Yeah, and the probabilities are oddly specific. So NOAA says there's a 71% chance of it happening in October through December and a 54% chance of that happening December through February. Let's talk about first what a La Nina is. This refers to ocean trends in the Pacific, more specifically off the coast of Peru. La Nina means it's cooler than average, which would infer a dip in the jet stream in the western U.S. and more of a rise in the jet stream in the eastern U.S. So you tend to see milder, drier weather in the eastern U.S. when that happens. Now, because the wind is not as harsh in the east, this could eventually lead to some late season tropical development. This also may lead to a drought developing in parts of the eastern U.S. The Climate Prediction Center has already outlined places in Virginia and Maryland. And in 64% of our winters here in the Triangle, a La Nina usually means it's less active. It is September, after all, so can't go making a forecast on the winter, but these are some of the trends we'll be following in the weeks ahead.
And Chris Levingood here in the WRAL Live Center. We have just received an official announcement from Wiley Nichols' office saying that the former congressman is going to officially run for Wake County DA. This dropped into our newsroom within the past 5 minutes or so, and you'll see this bit of this paragraph here. He says that our rights are under attack, and that is why I'm running to represent Wake County as your next district attorney. Now, you may recall that he is a former state lawmaker who served in Congress from 2023 until the end of last year, and then he launched a campaign for U.S. Senate, but then dropped out in July after former Governor Roy Cooper entered the race. He's trying to fill that seat being vacated by Democrat Lauren Freeman, who is not seeking re-election, and Democrats Melanie Shakita and Sharita Walton have also launched their campaigns to run for Wake County DA.
All right, it was a close Monday Night Football matchup in Houston. The Texans jumped out to a lead over the Tampa Bay Bucs, but the Bucs drove down the field at the end of the game, scoring the go-ahead touchdown with just seconds left on the clock. The Bucs took that game 20-19. They actually went for two and didn't make it. The Vegas Raiders hosted the Los Angeles Chargers in the second part of the Monday night doubleheader. The Chargers offense was clicking early, scoring 17 points in the first half. The Raiders were not able to get into the end zone at all. They only scored 3 field goals. The Chargers won that game 20-9.
A nonprofit group found a creative way to help people in Western North Carolina recover from Helene. The Appalachia Service Project has previously provided permanent housing for people, and now they're addressing immediate needs like rebuilding or repairing homes destroyed by the storm. They have finished 2 houses, handing over the second set of keys over the weekend.
The disaster recovery tends to be measured in years, not months. It's not fast, and it is a slog, and our hearts remain faithful to those that are still recovering. But I think it's good and right when you've completed something to step back every once in a while, celebrate.
The goal here is to build 200 new homes. The first 100 are already paid for. All right, now it's time to get a check on the forecast with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Elizabeth, I know we were tracking some spotty rain this morning, but overall seeing some dry conditions across the Triangle.
We are. We have this low pressure system that's been sitting offshore, and it did send us some pockets of rain this morning. At the moment, the radar is quiet. The heaviest rain is trending farther northeast, not just in our northeastern counties, but really on up into Virginia. The low pressure system will continue to head northward. Instead of it moving really inland across our area, it's hugged the coast a little bit more and will continue to head northward. So I'm not saying that we won't see any rain this afternoon. Our chances for rain around the Triangle are pretty slim, but our northeastern counties could still see some rain as this system continues to move eastward. But we've definitely started to dry out from Rocky Mountain to Roanoke Rapids over the last 2 hours. We take a look at what's going on out there. One of the reasons that we're not seeing a lot of rain moving inland is we have this cluster of thunderstorms that has really robbed the moisture from moving inland. And then this cluster, instead of moving inland, is actually moving northward. We've had some flooding around Virginia Beach. You can see that green box showing up there. So that's a flood warning there. And then you can see the heavier rain northward. And as this continues to pull northward, that's where it's headed. This is what we call water vapor. This shows where we have moisture in the atmosphere and when we don't. And you can see how it's really clustered here in green, almost offshore, headed up toward Virginia. And very little of that moisture is rotating back into North Carolina. So it looks like we may miss out on a lot of this rain. we could use a lot of it, especially from Raleigh eastward. As we go through time, this takes us up to lunchtime. And notice Futurecast does show a few more waves coming through, but we may see a lot of sunshine from Raleigh westward. We still have a low risk for flooding in some of our northeastern counties, but that could get dropped. Likely to see maybe a half an inch of rain in Rocky Mount. For the Triangle, I think we'd be pushing it to see a quarter of an inch, more like a sprinkle or two or some light rain as possible. Our temperatures will remain cool today, cloudy in some places, some sunshine breaking out. We'll probably easily make it on up to 70 in the places where it's sunny. And then we're in the upper 80s by Friday, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We understand now why that northern loop of the Beltline was seeing those huge delays. It's because of this crash in the westbound lane near Brentwood Road. This is not far from Capitol Boulevard. You can see the delay stretch all the way back to New Bern Avenue. So let's take you out and show you what we're talking about. These are the westbound lanes moving away from us as we look live at I-440 and New Bern Avenue. You can see the bumper traffic as a result of that crash that's happening there on I-440 westbound near Brentwood Road. So keep that in mind as you're about to head out. You might want to take the southern loop of the Beltline just to be on the safe side. In terms of other major routes coming into Raleigh this morning, our friends in Wake Forest, you're looking at a 9-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest, just a 1-minute delay if you're coming in from Knightdale this morning. So things are definitely getting better on I-87 because a little while there, it was up to like 17-minute delay. So wonderful to report. Over in Durham, we did have a situation on I-885 that's gotten cleared up, but you're still looking at a 3 to 5 minute delay and an 11-minute delay if you're coming in on Highway 98 into Durham.
All right, Ken, thank you. The race for DA, a new name joining the mix in Wake County, how this election is shaping up ahead of 2026. Plus, job scam complaints. 5 on your side looks at a company under investigation and the red flags you need to watch out for.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. The time is 8:26. I'm Laura Levine. Let's get right over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gartner with the forecast.
Taking a look at that coastal low, it's been swinging some moisture and some cloud cover into parts of North Carolina. We haven't seen a whole lot of that in the Triangle, but earlier this morning we saw some of that to the northeast. At this point, it's continuing to dissipate pretty quickly. It's not completely over. We could still see a few waves of rain coming through into our northeastern counties this afternoon, so we'll give it a 50% chance. Our temperature is likely to climb on up to around 70. Our southwestern counties may get a little bit warmer than that. In some places in the Sandhills, we're already seeing a little bit of sunshine. We should be fairly dry in the Triangle today, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We have a real trouble spot brewing on the northern loop of the Beltline because of this crash right here near Brentwood Road, not far from Capitol Boulevard. So let's take you outside and show you exactly what you're running into. If this is part of your morning commute, you can see the bumper-to-bumper traffic there starting at I-440 and New Bern Avenue. So that northern loop of the Beltline, you're looking at a 12-minute delay. So I would recommend using the southern loop of the Beltline depending on where you're headed this morning. I'll have an update at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
This morning, the brothers accused of killing Wake County Deputy Ned Byrd will be in court. Alder and Arturo Marin Sotelo are charged with killing Byrd in 2022. Earlier this month, their trial date was confirmed next September. They'll be in court at 9:30 this morning. Police in Raleigh are investigating a crash that ended in a fire. It happened on Keystone Drive near Lynn Road at around 11 p.m. This is a look at that scene. Only one car was involved. The driver has minor injuries. Coming up next on Fox 50, how school leaders in Wake County are considering a new AI policy. Plus, ahead on Today, Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell stop by Studio A.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Tracking our coastal low at the moment, not pushing a whole lot of rain into our area. I'll let you know how much more we could see later on today.
Plus, brothers in court. In an hour here, the men accused of killing Wake County Deputy Ned Byrd will face a judge. The new developments in their case.
And AI in schools. Today, Wake County leaders will consider how to bring more tech into the classroom, how it could change your child's learning moving forward. Coming up at 8:30, thanks so much for being with us here on Fox 50. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Laura Levine here for Michelle McConaughey this morning. And we are starting off a little bit cooler here today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking the forecast for us. Elizabeth.
Checking dual Doppler 5000 radar. It looks fairly dry. We have some cloud cover in spots. The farther south and west you go, we're seeing a good bit of sunshine, especially down there in the Sandhills. But a few sprinkles trying to show up here around Wake County. Notice there's not much rain falling in any part of North Carolina. Our coastal low is beginning to push off just a little bit. So we're looking at still the chance of some of that rotating through. We're going to leave a 50% chance in for this afternoon. Most of that is going to be north and east of the triangle. It is gray at RDU right now, though, so we're not saying it's not going to rain at all for the rest of the day, but the totals are going to be minimal. A few sprinkles, a few patchy light showers. It's 63 right now at RDU and around the triangle, but it is dry. Our dew point's at 58. That's a fairly dry air mass. So, that's another thing that the system has to overcome is all the dry air that we have in place. In places where we're fairly cloudy, we'll end up with a high around 70. And where we see some sunshine down to the south and west, it could be a little bit warmer than that this afternoon, Ken.
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We got a real trouble spot in the northern loop of the Beltline as a result of this crash right here in I-440 westbound near Brentwood Road. This is not far from Capitol Boulevard. So you're seeing some congestion building all the way back, almost back to the I-440, I-87 interchange. But things look like it's beginning to move just a little better just a little bit ago, because a little bit ago it was just like bumper to bumper traffic, but still you're looking at a 12-minute delay if you're starting your journey from Capitol Boulevard and around that particular area. So keep that in mind. It's about to head out. You might want to take the southern loop of the Beltline as a result of what's happening there on that northern loop. But right now, the main trouble spot is for friends in Wake Forest. You're looking at a 9-minute delay coming in on US 1, Capitol Boulevard, if you will. Listen, 885 in Durham was a real jammed up a little while ago because of a crash, but that has since cleared. But we can still see some lingering delays going into Durham. You're looking at an 11-minute delay, just a 3-minute delay if you're using I-885 to get to I-40 this morning. But all the other major routes in Durham, except for Highway 98, you're looking at a 14-minute delay, or delay-free at this hour. You're getting ready to head into the car. We will keep you posted. 101.5 HD3. Listen up.
In about an hour here, the two men accused of killing a Wake County deputy will be in court. Brothers Alder and Arturo Marin Satella are both charged with killing Deputy Ned Byrd in 2022. WRAL's Ali Calabar is at the Wake County Courthouse explaining the new developments in this case.
We're going to see those brothers back in court today at 9:30 for another hearing. This comes more than a year before their trial date is set. Here's a look at the two brothers, Alder and Arturo Marin Satella. About 2 weeks ago, a homicide status hearing confirmed a trial date for September 2026. The death penalty is off the table. They are charged with the murder of Wake County Sheriff's Deputy Ned Byrd. Byrd was shot and killed in the line of duty more than 3 years ago. Now that hearing is set for 9:30 this morning. WRAL is going to be there covering this. We're going to keep you updated. Reporting in Raleigh, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
In the past 5 minutes, we have a breaking update from the Raleigh Police Department about this man right here. This is 43-year-old Bryant Baldwin, and he has been arrested in connection to a shooting that we first brought to you last Friday in Raleigh on Pettis Place. Let me show you some of the video from that scene where we were there. That's that street in front of the Raleigh National Cemetery. This was around 2 a.m. where this happened. They're saying that the victim in this shooting case was 42-year-old Derek Bell, and he has died as a result of his injuries. Now, we know that Baldwin is currently facing several charges here, including murder, discharge weapon into an occupied property, and possession of firearm by a felon. But in terms of how they were able to figure out this is the person they wanted to arrest, that has not been laid out just yet. We want to try to reach out to investigators to try to get more information about this. And as soon as we're able to get that, we'll report it here on WRAL News.
Chris, thank you. And new this morning that Chris just broke into the Live Center about 30 minutes ago. Former Congressman Wiley Nickel is now launching his campaign to be Wake County's next district attorney. The Cary Democrat is a former state lawmaker who served in Congress from 2023 until the end of last year. He launched a campaign for U.S. Senate, but dropped out in July after former Governor Roy Cooper entered the race. The election for Wake District Attorney is in November 2026. Nickel is trying to fill the seat being vacated by Democrat Lauren Freeman, who is not seeking re-election. Democrats Melanie Chiquita and Sharita Walton have also launched campaigns for the seat. Walton has Freeman's support. For more on this race, you can check out our story on WRAL.com.
Raleigh police are investigating a crash that ended in a fire overnight. This is a look from the WRAL breaking news tracker around 11 last night. This happened on Keystone Drive near Lynn Road. Only one car was involved. The drivers suffered minor injuries. We're trying to learn more about what caused this crash.
2 people are dead and another is hurt because of a shooting in Wilson. Police say a longtime community advocate and former city council candidate is the shooter. Officers say the shooting happened on Washington Street around 2 p.m. yesterday. Officers arrested Dante Chestnut, the founder of the nonprofit Our Wilson. Chestnut was charged with several counts of first-degree murder. Neighbors say they heard arguing before the first shots were fired. Police haven't said what led up to this shooting.
How should artificial intelligence be used in the classroom? Well, today, Wake County School Board will work on its policy for that important issue. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is outside the Wake headquarters this morning, and as Amazon is expected to be part of today's discussion.
Today, Wake school leaders will talk about creating a new AI policy for your child's school. They'll meet here at the school board headquarters a little bit later today to brainstorm some new guidelines. Another step towards more technology in the classroom. Amazon will present to school leaders this afternoon. A company representative will talk about how AI can help schools work more efficiently. Several other school systems in our area already have an AI policy or references a commitment to using it and maintaining academic integrity. For example, some school systems specified that using AI for essays would be considered plagiarism. Here's WRAL education insider Emily Walkenhorst.
The Wake school system does already actively encourage students and teachers to use artificial intelligence. There just isn't some formal school board policy about artificial intelligence.
Now, this is just the first meeting about AI. School leaders are scheduled to meet 2 more times a little bit later down the line to continue discussing this. You can follow our coverage today on the education section of WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Cary.
Bringing you back into the Live Center for this breaking update. Actor, director, and political activist Robert Redford died at age 89. This is what you're likely going to see across your social media feeds for quite some time. He was in classic films such as Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and All the President's Men, and he's credited with giving a significant boost to American indie films. He was also one of the Sundance Film Festival's founders, and he died at his home in Utah. And a lot of different comments are coming in across social media feeds. We'll try to look and see what we can bring to you here in the WRAL Live Center.
He was one of the greats. The man accused of killing Charlie Kirk is expected to be indicted today on several charges, including aggravated murder. Well, this morning we're learning Tyler Robinson confessed online to the killing before turning himself in. According to the Washington Post, Robinson posted in an online group chat saying, "Hey guys, I've been bad news for you. It was me at UBW yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." FBI Director Kash Patel says investigators have 2 new pieces of evidence with the suspect DNA, a towel wrapped around a rifle that was found near the scene, and a screwdriver recovered from the roof of that building.
And here locally, dozens of people gathered at Moore Square in Raleigh for this vigil remembering Charlie Kirk. Speakers shared personal experiences with Kirk and described the impact they believe he had on the country. A small group of protesters also stood nearby, including one man who covered his face. However, it remained peaceful. We talked to people about why they showed up.
We believe in the family values that he preached about and talked about, and we want our children to be able to have freedom of speech, so we're here supporting everybody.
Some people told WRAL whether you agree or disagree with Kirk's commentary, no one should be killed for speaking about what they believe in.
The plan that could lead to more expansion for Novo Nordisk in Johnston County is moving forward. The Four Oaks Town Council approved a proposal which could pave the way for major commercial growth in that area. Mayor Victor Medlin said annexation of land has been discussed for 25 years now. He said it would bring good-paying jobs. The proposal includes land adjacent to I-95. It was not without opposition, though, from several local residents.
If they would poll the people in town and ask them what they want before they go making decisions, they say it doesn't affect your property. Sure, it affects your property. If you put a subdivision on prime farmland, that subdivision makes your property tax go up.
The annexation proposals were requested by the landowners. They passed unanimously.
Today, President Trump will arrive in the UK for a state visit. Britain is preparing one of its biggest security operations in years for his trip. Authorities say hundreds of armed police and snipers will be deployed. Military helicopters will fly above London as a no-fly zone will be imposed. Police boats will patrol nearby waters. King Charles III will host President Trump at Windsor Castle. Trump will also meet with Prime Minister Keir Starmer. They'll talk about working more closely together on issues including Ukraine and lowering tariffs. Your time now is 8:40. Still ahead, job scam investigation. A company under investigation for their job offers they're making to people. The company's connection here to the triangle and the red flags you should watch out for.
And we're walking outdoor to a cooler morning commute. This is a live look at Southern Pines. We're expected to only reach in the high 70s today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner explains when we'll warm back up and what we're tracking in the tropics.
8:44, still watching this coastal low. There for a while this morning, it was pushing some rain into our northeastern counties, and now we've really seen even that slow down a little bit. It's possible that we would see a few sprinkles, still seeing a good bit of cloud cover from Raleigh north and east. We're seeing some sunshine down in the Sandhills right now, so we'll continue to watch it. That's going to continue to rotate off the coast and potentially, again, bring us some cloud cover, some fairly cool temperatures for today. 50% chance of rain this afternoon will mainly be our northeastern counties. At this point, it doesn't look like we would have enough rain to cause any flooding, but parts of the viewing area could see some rain as we get through the day. 70 degrees for the high temperature this afternoon. Again, from Raleigh, south and west, we should be fairly dry. If you're looking to get outside and exercise, you should be okay.
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, we continue to keep track of that situation on that northern loop of the Beltline because of this crash right here on I-440 westbound near Brentwood Road. It's probably off to the shoulder of the road right now, but we're still seeing some lingering delays on that northern loop because this is what it looks like right now. At one point, it was just bumper to bumper traffic, but you can see traffic is moving along a little better right now. You're looking at an 8-minute delay. I'll have another update in about 10 minutes right here on Fox 50.
The Better Business Bureau is warning about a possible nationwide job scam with ties to Durham. 5 on your side's Ashley Rowe exposes the red flags to watch out for.
The BBB scam tracker has gotten at least 40 complaints about job offers from a company called SynBio Therapeutic. People say they're getting emails from SynBio Therapeutic about pharmaceutical sales rep jobs. The people getting these emails are told they need to take a $300 pharmaceutical sales certification course before they can be hired. Many suspect it's a scam. The BBB says they have opened a formal investigation into SynBio Therapeutic and found there's no record of the company with the State Board of Pharmacy or any other regulatory agency. SynBio's website lists a Durham address, but they don't have a physical office there.
We're not really sure it's a company, but it's definitely important to obviously just be on the lookout and know the difference between legitimate job offers and those that maybe are not as legitimate.
SynBio Therapeutic has not responded to the BBB or 5 on your side's requests for comment. To protect yourself from a scam, be wary of any job offer that comes to you unexpectedly. Research the person who contacted you and the company. Be protective of your personal or banking information, and don't fall for jobs that seem too good to be true. Ashley Rowe, 5 on your side.
Some good tips right there. Well, new this morning, President Trump says he's bringing a $15 billion lawsuit against the New York Times. The president claims he was defamed and libeled. He accuses the Times of being the virtual mouthpiece of the Democratic Party. Trump threatened to sue the Times last week because it published articles about a sexually suggestive note and drawing. Trump is accused of giving it to Jeffrey Epstein. Trump denied any involvement in the creation of that note.
Today, we'll hear from UNC football coach Bill Belichick before the Tar Heels try to win their 3rd straight game. The Heels have won 2 games in a row after losing their opener to TCU. They'll try to keep that winning streak alive this weekend when they play at the University of Central Florida in Orlando. Belichick is expected to speak around 2 o'clock this afternoon. We'll have an update on what he has to say during our evening newscast starting at 4.
A civil rights icon on the catwalk and a chance to see Bad Bunny on the stage.
So how about this? That's what's trending this morning. 71-year-old civil rights icon Ruby Bridges walked in a show for New York Fashion Week. She was part of the Actively Black show to honor those who fought for equality. Bridges became the first child to integrate the all-white William Frantz Elementary School in New Orleans back in 1960. One of MLK's daughters and one of Malcolm X's daughters were in attendance, as well as Tommy Smith and John Carlos, the two athletes who raised their fists at the 1968 Olympics. That's an iconic photo right there.
Absolutely. You know, being from New Orleans, we learned so much about Ruby Bridges, and to see how she made such an impact on history, and also to see her now making headlines in the fashion world, it's really pretty incredible here. So now to this, we know that Bad Bunny here, he has decided to have a show, one more show in Puerto Rico, and he's giving more fans a chance to see it. The rapper will be live streaming on Amazon Prime, Twitch, and the Amazon Music app. The concert will be this Saturday, September 20th. And I have to say here, this is all because there was a lot of public outcry on social media, but especially in the U.S. about not being able to see him. So that's pretty good.
So people weren't able to go to Puerto Rico.
Yes.
All right. And then he's going on tour next summer, actually.
Yes.
So that's good. So listen, Ed Sheeran has news about his final album, and we're getting a first look at Claire Danes' new television series.
Rick Damigella has more in this Hollywood Minute.
Ed Sheeran has his final album mapped out. The singer revealed to Apple Music that he's already created the album he wants released after he dies, titled Eject. Sheeran has the album in his will and will let his wife choose the track list.
We are, all of us, drawn to monsters.
Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys team up. The actors star in the new limited series The Beast in Me. Danes plays a reclusive author determined to find truth about her suspicious new neighbor. The Netflix release premieres November 13th.
It feels different coming home. There's a real emptiness.
The Boss comes to the big screen. Jeremy Allen White portrays Bruce Springsteen in the upcoming biopic Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. This is a new look at the film, which documents the making of the rocker's beloved Nebraska album and arrives in theaters October 24th. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
A historical marker about Hurricane Floyd will be unveiled today in Princeville. Floyd made landfall 26 years ago today. It brought flooding and destruction to eastern North Carolina. The rapid rise of floodwaters caught many eastern counties off guard. Thousands of people were trapped in their homes or cars, and the storm caused $6 billion in damage in North Carolina. Today's unveiling ceremony on NC 33 near the Tar River begins at 11 a.m.
And I remember that well, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. You and I remember that well. We covered Floyd. We remember trying to get home, taking hours.
Yeah, we covered that, for weeks and months. I mean, almost years. That was definitely one of our most historic storms that I can remember. There have been a lot of them, but that one, incredible amount of flooding there in eastern North Carolina. We take a look at what's happening right now. We have a low pressure system sitting off the coast. It's not tropical in nature, but it has been pushing some moisture inland. Just now, just in the last 10 minutes or so, we're beginning to see a few sprinkles, a little bit of light rain here in the northern part of Wake County, parts of Nash County and Franklin County as well. So it's not over, but we're just not likely to see a lot of heavy rain out of this. At one point yesterday, the models are really pushing in a lot of rain, especially for our northeastern counties. At this point, it looks like if we see any flooding, it's likely to be up here in Virginia. You can see that green box right there. So that's some flooding issues there. What ended up happening is we have a cluster of storms sitting here, and it's blocking a lot of the moisture from moving inland. We see this sometimes in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll be looking at a flow coming up from the Gulf, and those storms sit down there along the Gulf Coast and keep that moisture from moving northward. That's kind of what's happening for us. This is coming in off the coast, and that offshore little system is robbing the moisture from moving inland. Here's a look at futurecast, and you can see it does show a few isolated showers, especially in our northeastern counties over the next few hours. This is a look all the way out to about 10 o'clock tonight. It's going to be a breezy day today. We're looking at gray skies here in Durham. Don't be surprised if there's a sprinkle or a light shower. 63 is our current temperature right now. We'll see winds gusting about 20 to 25 miles per hour through the afternoon, and temperatures in the triangle around 70, 75 in Fayetteville. Temperatures will warm up pretty quickly as we get into Thursday and Friday. That's when we'll see lots of sunshine across our area. That 88-degree high on Friday will be above normal. 83s are normal for this time of year. Right now, the weekend is looking good. Just a very small chance for a thunderstorm.
Elizabeth, thank you. Before we go to break, here are the winning lottery numbers. And we'll get another check on the weather and traffic coming up next.